our GKE series of bin tippers are fantastic for anyone who's scaling up their production. You know, when you're crushing a bin or two a day, bucketing or shoveling those apples into your crusher might not be the end of the world. But as soon as you start moving up into, you know, throughputs like we see with our smallest systems, 1,600 pounds an hour, 2,400 pounds an hour, being able to have a solution where you're able to manually load your bins into this tipper and have it feed the rest of your system with minimal manual input is huge. It's a back saver for your production, really. It's absolutely going to save you time if you think about, you know, the volume of fruit you've got to get through. If you have an 800-pound bin of apples, I mean, for one, anyone who's ever tried shoveling apples is going to understand that they don't shovel terribly well. You'll see people with smaller scale setups, you know, filling buckets with apples and tipping those into the mill, and that works great. To do a few hundred pounds a day, maybe even a couple thousand pounds a day, but when you're talking a couple thousand pounds an hour, the feasibility of being able to feed these systems with anything but a more automated solution kind of goes out the window. You just have to throw so much labor at it to keep a press fed. And so you're going to see time savings. You're going to see happier staff. I mean, they're not breaking their backs lifting every single apple that you're making into juice. And it's also going to allow you to, you know, either leverage economies of scale by being able to buy fruit in these bulk bins and get better prices on that fruit in some cases, or to be able to bring in the fruit right from a packing house or right from the orchard if you're picking into bins and feed it straight into that pressing line. So if we're talking about a cold press juice operation where you're maybe working with different produce like carrots, celery, leafy greens, whether a bin tipper is the right fit for your operation or not is really going to depend on how you receive that produce. If you're big enough that you're getting in macro bins, you know, 4-foot by 4-foot bins of leafy greens or of carrots, or if you have your staff prepping into those bins, this can be a great way to feed a larger cold press juice line. If you're like a lot of cold press places I've worked with where your produce is coming in boxes or lugs or buckets or, you know, different sort of produce wholesaler format packaging, then the question is really, am I processing enough of this that it makes sense to have my prep line feed this all into a bin that can then be tipped into our cold press juice line? If the answer is no, then you can tip those 40-pound lugs, you can tip those produce boxes right into our washing bath by hand. If it's something where you think it might make sense, then I would definitely encourage you to reach out, look at the GKE bin tipper with us. It can take a lot of heavy lifting out of your production work. Our bin tipper can be configured to feed out at a few different heights and at standard configuration. So whether you're tipping onto our sorting conveyors, into one of our brush cleaners, onto another piece of upstream equipment that you might have pre-existing that you're looking to integrate our equipment with, it can be a really great fit for being able to integrate your infeed from bulk bins to just about any piece of kit on your line ahead of the press.